North of the Alps, beyond the reach of Roman law and legions, lay Gaul. A vast, fertile land. It was home to fierce tribes, skilled warriors, and whispers of untold riches. To the Romans, ever hungry for land and glory, Gaul was a prize worth fighting for, a land ripe for the taking. Yet the Gauls were no pushovers. They were a proud people, fiercely independent and protective of their ancestral lands. For centuries, the Romans had cast envious eyes on Gaul. Its rolling hills and fertile plains promised agricultural abundance, while its strategic location offered a gateway to further conquests in Britannia and Germania. However, the Romans were wary of the Gauls' martial prowess, their reputation as fearsome warriors preceding them. The Gauls were not a single unified entity, but rather a collection of tribes, often at odds with one another. This disunity, the Romans believed, would be their key to victory. If they could exploit these internal divisions, turn tribe against tribe, they could weaken Gaul from within and pave the path for Roman domination. In 58 BC, the Roman proconsul Gaius Julius Caesar, a man of boundless ambition and military genius, was granted governorship of Cisalpine Gaul and Illyricum. This provided him with the perfect opportunity, the perfect excuse, to embark on his own Gallic adventure, one that would etch his name into the annals of history and forever alter the fate of both Rome and Gaul. Gaius Julius Caesar was no ordinary Roman. Born into a patrician family, he possessed a keen intellect, a charismatic personality, and a burning desire for power. From a young age, he proved himself to be a shrewd politician and a capable military commander. His rise to prominence was marked by a combination of political maneuvering, strategic alliances, and ruthless ambition. He understood the power of the people and used his oratory skills to win their support. The Roman Republic, however, was a dangerous game, and Caesar made both allies and enemies along the way. The Senate, the ruling body of the Republic, viewed Caesar's growing popularity with suspicion. His ambition threatened their power, and they sought to curtail his influence. However, Caesar had a plan. He secured the governorship of Gaul, seeing it as a chance to prove his military genius, amass wealth and resources, and most importantly, gain the unwavering loyalty of his legions. Gaul was to be Caesar's proving ground, the stage upon which he would demonstrate his military prowess and secure his place in the Roman pantheon of heroes. Little did he know, his campaigns in Gaul would not only bring him glory, but also push the Roman Republic closer to the brink of collapse and pave the way for the rise of the Roman Empire. In 58 BC, with his legions assembled, Caesar stood at the Rubicon, a shallow river that marked the boundary between Cisalpine Gaul and Italy. Crossing it with an army was forbidden under Roman law, an act of war against the Republic itself. Caesar had a choice to make: turn back and face the wrath of the Senate, or cross the Rubicon and ignite a civil war. It was a decision that would determine the fate of Rome. Legend has it that, after a moment of contemplation, Caesar uttered the now famous words, "Alea iacta est," the die is cast. With that, Caesar and his legions crossed the Rubicon, their footsteps echoing the gravity of the moment. The Roman world watched in anticipation as Caesar marched on Rome, his actions shattering the fragile peace that had held the Republic together. The Senate, caught off guard by Caesar's boldness, declared him an enemy of the state. The Rubicon was not just a river, it was a symbolic line that once crossed could never be uncrossed. It marked the beginning of a tumultuous period of civil war, a conflict that would see Caesar pitted against his former friend and ally, Pompey the Great, and ultimately lead to the demise of the Roman Republic. Section 4. Early victories and alliances, securing a foothold. Caesar's invasion of Gaul was not a straightforward conquest. The Gauls, though divided, were fierce warriors, and Caesar quickly realized that he could not defeat them through brute force alone. He needed to employ a combination of military might, cunning diplomacy, and strategic alliances. Caesar's early campaigns were characterized by swift victories against various Gallic tribes. He exploited their internal divisions, turning their own rivalries against them. By playing one tribe against another, he weakened their resistance and secured alliances with those willing to submit to Roman authority. His legions, renowned for their discipline and training, proved to be a formidable force. They marched across Gaul, constructing forts, building roads, and establishing Roman authority. Caesar's military successes were not solely due to his legion's prowess. He was also a master of logistics and strategy. He ensured his troops were well supplied, even in hostile territory. His campaigns were meticulously planned, often catching his enemies off guard. By combining military strength with political acumen, Caesar gradually extended Roman influence deeper into Gaul, setting the stage for the epic confrontations that lay ahead. Section 5, Vercingetorix, the Gaulish hope emerges. As Caesar tightened his grip on Gaul, a new threat emerged, one that would unite the fractious Gallic tribes under a single banner. Vercingetorix, a young chieftain of the Arverni tribe, rose to prominence. His charisma and military genius igniting a flame of resistance that spread throughout Gaul like wildfire. Vercingetorix understood that the only way to defeat Caesar was to unite the Gallic tribes, to put aside their differences and fight as one. His passionate calls for unity resonated with the Gauls, who flocked to his banner, eager to drive the Romans back across the Alps. Vercingetorix was a shrewd military commander, adopting a scorched earth policy to deny the Roman legion supplies, and using guerrilla tactics to harass their movements. His strategy proved effective, bogging the Romans down in a war of attrition and forcing Caesar to reconsider his approach. The rise of Vercingetorix transformed the Gallic campaign. No longer was it a series of isolated skirmishes against individual tribes. It had become a full-scale war of liberation, led by a charismatic leader who embodied the Gauls' spirit of resistance and their determination to break free from Roman domination. Section 6, the Siege of Alesia, a turning point in history. The year is 52 BC. The fate of Gaul hangs in the balance as two of the ancient world's greatest military minds clash in a battle for the ages. Caesar, at the height of his powers, lays siege to Alesia, a hilltop fortress where Vercingetorix and his warriors have taken refuge. Alesia was no ordinary siege. It was a battle on two fronts. Inside the fortress, Vercingetorix's warriors fiercely defended their position. Outside, a massive Gallic relief army, desperate to break the siege, threatened Caesar's legions. Caesar, facing overwhelming odds, demonstrated his tactical genius. He ordered the construction of a double ring of fortifications, an inner ring to hold Alesia and an outer one to repel the relief army. The scale of the Roman engineering feat was astounding, a testament to the discipline and ingenuity of Caesar's legions. For weeks, the siege raged on. Both sides fought with incredible ferocity, their destinies intertwined. Finally, in a desperate attempt to break the Roman lines, Vercingetorix launched a massive assault. The fighting was brutal, a maelstrom of swords, shields, and arrows. But Caesar's legions held firm, repelling wave after wave of Gallic warriors. Defeated and exhausted, Vercingetorix surrendered. His surrender marked a turning point in the Gallic Wars, effectively breaking the back of Gallic resistance.